Okay, Fidel here again. We're going to make pretty much the same pizza dough as we did before, but this is not going to be a how-to video. It's more of an experiment. We're going to take this dough to 4 days instead of 3 days and see what the results are. Same exact recipe, so if you want to see how to do it, you can follow my other video that says how to make Neapolitan pizza dough with Caputo 00. This is the same exact recipe. Got my water here. The recipe here, I have 1,234 grams of flour. This is Caputo 00 Pizzeria flour. 753 grams of chilled water, and you can see the ice is already starting to melt, so I'm going to start hurrying up. So it's pretty cold water. Got 1 gram of yeast right there, and 28 grams of salt. Okay, 28 grams of salt. It's already, everything's all pre-measured. What I'm going to be using here, excuse me, Mia. Excuse me. Got a paddle here. I'm going to put my salt into the water. And usually I do this when the ice hasn't melted yet, but it took me a while to get this camera situated just right, and my ice started melting, but it's still very cold water. Needless to say, it'll probably warm up. It's probably around 74 degrees or something in my house, so I'm sure over the next 20 minutes or so making this dough, the dough is going to come up in temperature a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of this Caputo flour and put it in with the yeast, and I'm going to give that a little bit of a mix just so we don't see any more of those little brown yeasty guys there, so for lack of a better term. Okay, so that's kind of well mixed. I'll set this aside. I'll just keep that right there. We get started in this really quickly here. I'm going to use roughly half of my flour. So it looks like roughly half. This is the purpose of this step is to just make sure that there's plenty of flour to provide a buffer between it and the salt. Salt kills yeast, and we're already using a very minuscule amount, which is roughly 0.81%. Or yes, 0.081, I forget, but it's something like that. Anyway, 1 gram of yeast. So, as you can see, my daughter just showed up here in the video. Anyway, the top of her head is showing. Okay, so just get this kind of mixed into a pasty mixture. Give you an idea of what we're looking at here. Okay, right now it's pretty lumpy. You can see, very lumpy. If you're not watching in high definition, I suggest you do if you really want to see the textures here. Okay. Okay. So,
Daddy mixing.
Yeah, Daddy's mixing. That's right.
Daddy mixing and then the video inside Mia.
Yeah, Mia's going to be inside too, huh? You're going to be in the computer later, huh?
Mia.
Okay, got that kind of mixed well enough. I'll go ahead and add my yeast mixture, the yeast and flour mixture that I did a few minutes ago. Okay, now I'll set that aside. Okay, now the yeast should get pretty well blended in this manner because there's still plenty of moisture. That moisture can carry around the yeast. Pretty much this whole
Mia inside too.
Yep, Mia's inside there too. Yeah, Mia's eyes. Okay, get that a nice mix. Okay, this particular dough I've been making will follow the same exact pattern. I'm not going to change a thing. I'm not going to change anything at all. So this dough is not going to need a whole lot of kneading. Okay, I just wanted to blend it so it's somewhat smooth. Looks a little bit thicker than a hot cake batter. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add almost all of the rest of this flour. I'm going to save, like I did in the other video, I'm saving roughly a handful, and that handful is going to serve a purpose, which you'll see. So I just want to make sure I'm getting everything. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to gently cut this in. Cutting in and turning the bowl. For any of you watching, this is an ongoing experiment that's going to be going on for the next week, which will include right up into the point that I make a pie and take one out, and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so this will be part one of the video. And then the next parts of the video will have to do with the daily progress over the next 4 days. I'm not going to expect too much in the first day or so, but by the third day there should be a little bit of noticeable rise in the dough, as long as I've had no problems. Been getting a lot of suggestions here and there from guys on the pizza making forums. It's been great advice so far, and I've taken a lot of them and used them to improve my dough so far over the, well, to be honest, over the past 10 years. So this is getting kind of hard to work with, so what I'm going to do is scrape off this. I will use a little bit of that, just a little bit, and I'm going to further clean off my spoon. Now, one of the techniques I've learned to minimize wasted flour is to actually save some, don't put it all in, and use it for cleaning off everything, making sure everything makes its way into the dough. So this spoon is done, retired. Okay, so next I'm going to use a little bit more of that handful of flour, and it's time to work with my hands. First, clean off the bowl, and get as much of this back into the dough as possible. Okay, so it's just a standard kneading technique of folding over and pushing into the center. And right now this is just a big lumpy mess, and I'll give you an idea. It's really a very lumpy mess. Okay, it's nothing really special yet. But using some more of that clean off flour. Okay, my hands are pretty clean. One of the things that I try to make sure to do is to clean off my hands early while what's on them is still moist and not dried out yet. So now I'm going to add a little bit more of this clean off flour, and move this lump around and continue to knead just a little bit more.
pizza dough.
Yeah, that's pizza dough. Okay, that should be the rest of my cleanup flour. One last cleanup with my hand, make sure nothing's still sticking. Okay, all the flour from that previous bowl is in there.
Pizza dough.
Yep, and I think you, little girl, are gonna take a nap. Okay, kid. Make sure to work that in just a little bit, just to make sure everything gets moistened and incorporated. It's starting to get a little bit smooth, but that's not important right now. See the texture of that? I'm going to go ahead and just leave that for about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, because the weather's a lot warmer, so it's going to take a little less time for this to caramelize. Okay, cover that.